Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. 1 week ago today, on this very spot, I had my very first breakthrough in backhand form in over a year. A significant breakthrough in my situation. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I finally fixed my swing, and the key is right here. So it's taken me a while to finally figure out what my body is doing throughout the entire throw. And one of the biggest problems I have, one of the two biggest problems, is in my backswing. My arm would essentially go back too fast and too far before my shoulders can get ready. And that basically put me at the peak of the backswing before I was ready to start accelerating that way. So what I would do is I would then, the second mistake, hurriedly try to throw the disc this way, you know, like a backhand slap, a back slap. Well, that's the problem. The problem being is this arm was too loose and it was essentially just flailing about. And it would also cause me to have a more acute angle here between my upper arm and torso, the shoulders basically. And over months and years, it started to hurt me here on my shoulder. So I believe this problem with rounding is the most important problem you should fix if you have it. You may have a host of other problems with your swing, from your grip to other things, but really, this rounding issue where you have this horizontal shoulder collapse, that's the problem. That leads to injury, it leads to reduced accuracy and decreased distance. So I was trying to grapple how to deal with this problem, and I realized I could look to other throws for examples. For example, when you grab a ball and you throw just regularly, overhand, you know, the arm is controlled the whole way, it's moving fast, but it's not flailing about, it's in complete control. What if you're throwing a ball sidearm? Pretty much the same thing. It's not wild, it's not uncontrolled. What about a disc? Pretend you know how to throw a good forehand or a sidearm. You pretty much know it's going to be a certain way, and the arm is in control pretty much the whole way through. You may have form issues to work on, but you can still pretty much do it. So why is it my arm was so uncontrolled? Well, I ran through those options here 1 week ago to really this moment in time, because it's 5 o'clock p.m., just after 5. And so I just mimicked these motions, the throwing, the sidearm disc throwing, and then how can I do, that's it. I fixed it, just like that. More control, no rounding, the disc never comes behind my body, the elbow doesn't collapse. I mean, it kind of goes down to touch the shoulders up a little bit, but that's something I've got to deal with, a different issue. But as far as the rounding is concerned, I'm throwing controlled the whole way, or at least this motion is controlled the whole way. So really, you have all sorts of muscles that you're dealing with when you're dealing with the backhand throw. You're dealing with, you know, the triceps, you're dealing with the deltoids, you know, the lats to some extent, the trapezius, and, you know, the rhomboids. All those muscles are basically involved in this throw. If your triceps are involved, why not the biceps? Well, the bicep, or the biceps, it's two. It's a pair of muscles, triceps of 3, that work in an antagonistic fashion with each other. They work together to control it. And I see so many people, they basically throw and they do that. And they flail their arms. And the problem is they're not slowing down, that's one thing, but they're also not using this antagonistic muscle to do that. All you got to do is do that. And there may be other issues you're dealing with, such as the hip movement and planning before you throw and all that kind of stuff. But this one issue has a relatively simple fix, and it's basically slowing down and using this to curl, right? This is the end part of the swing. I call it the in swing, but you know, people don't really look at form that way, but it's an arc that's this way, an in swing, and then it's out like that, what I call an out swing. It's two different arcs, one arc here, one arc there, and it varies based on, you know, physical type, etc. But what I'm telling you right now is this is the fix to rounding, the active fix where you're in control of the arm the whole time and you're using it to throw the disc. And keep in mind, I'm not saying this bicep has to be any more active than it needs to be to put your arm in the correct position when you're throwing. That's all you have to do. Notice how this disc is flat the whole way through. Even though this elbow is pointed down a tiny bit, and I know my shoulder's elevated a bit, you have to ignore that stuff. For the sake of this, all you're doing is you're controlling it. Imagine there's a line, and you want to keep this disc and your arm on the other side of the line the whole way through. Now you can cheat and let this disc come inside the line. Here you want it inside your frame, right? But ultimately you want to eject it out. You want to open the gate, as Blitz DG likes to say. Clearly, if you're looking at the video, you can tell my form isn't done. I'm not claiming that. What I am claiming is I finally am getting control over my swing. Now, I was here a week ago preparing for a mini tournament. My friend Sean, who you've seen on this channel before, came up here and I told him, try this. And he immediately did it. I just told him, all you got to do is do this. I didn't walk him through the baseball explanation until after he threw a few times, you know, the other ways of throwing, because I knew I could just tell him, hey, Sean, do this and throw. And of course, Sean just did this and threw. And literally, he was getting the same distance I was. Not our max distance, but for a standstill, using a form we've literally never done before. Super impressive, super happy. And to be honest, I played that tournament, random doubles with a friend, Marcus, and I had the game of my life. Started out pretty rough, but really quickly I was starting to get that throw in. I was doing a standstill most of the times, although sometimes I played around with a walk-up. And it was just amazing to me. I felt like a door had finally opened on my ability to play this game. Like this one barrier, this one thing I couldn't figure out that caused all the issues with all the drills that I was doing, I finally figured out. So that is it, folks. That's all I'm telling you right now. I can make this video a lot longer, as I'm sure every one of you knows. Bottom line is, use that bicep. Your bicep is an active muscle in your arm just as much as this. So that's what you have to do. All you have to do is get that arm under control. Just start learning slowly. Get the bicep and the arm controlled. That's all you're doing, is getting that arm controlled. Then you can work on things like the coil, you know, shoulder hip separation, and then other things from like a 1-step, 3-step, walk up, whatever. Long story short is, just all you got to do is emulate this. Keep that disc as much on the line as possible. You don't have to do a ride rail like I do, but that's basically it. So real quick, I need to thank Blitz DG, Nick Crush, Trebuchet Disc Golf, Owen, basically saved my disc golf channel. I finally found someone I could talk to about a lot of the stuff I was going through, and he understood, he helped me work through it. I didn't make a lot of progress because of this one issue, but the reason I'm still even making content, just to be honest, part of it is because of Owen. I want to thank also Scott Stokely. He gave me a lot of advice. He didn't address this one thing here, but he gave me so much advice on other things, answered all my questions. Can't thank him enough. Got to thank Austin Jordan, Drew Nguyen, Matt Brajas for some of the coaching and tips that I got from them many years ago. Last but not least, my friend Mike. He started this throwing journey with me, started getting me going, and that's basically it. So long story short, I'm going to spend some time working on shadow swings, no disc drills, working on standstill. I'm going to go through Blitz DG's standstill tutorial program. I've already watched it yet again, took notes, and I'm going to go through that system. And then when I'm done, I'm going to try Nick Crush's standstill system, and I'm going to go from there. But another thing I want to mention, Seabass had mentioned some stuff to me in private, gave me some advice. I took it to heart, wrote it down, and tried implementing it. And now I think I can do it. So that's all I got to do. Sorry for this hasty wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do have more disc golf content on the way. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.